The Certain Evidence of Resurrection pastor Cho Gun-hui believes that there is no story that strongly supports the resurrection of Jesus, like the stories of modern history. Do you know about the Watergate scandal that occurred in 1972? Charles Colson, who was the legal advisor to President Nixon, makes a very important confession in his book, Born Again. On June 6, 1972, a burglar broke into the Democratic National Committee headquarters inside the Watergate building. It was an inconsequential incident that could happen at any time. However, among the arrested burglars, a note with the name of a White House staff member was found in one person's pocket, and political turmoil began to unfold. However, in November of that year, Nixon achieved an unprecedented landslide victory in the re-election, and by February 1973, he was truly enjoying the peak of his presidency by finally ending the long-standing Vietnam War. Nevertheless, the specter of Watergate did not disappear and continued to expand. Finally, on March 21, 1973, the president's aides gathered in one place to plot the initial cover-up conspiracy. The 10 aides who participated were elite among elites, most of whom were prominent lawyers with a strong reputation in the United States. Almost all of them were graduates from Harvard or Yale Law School. In other words, they were the top legal experts who knew better than anyone how to escape from the core of the problem. They were all fervent supporters of Nixon, willing to leave behind lucrative lawyer positions that boasted the highest incomes in America to enter the White House for the sake of human Nixon. They worked for Nixon day and night, 24 hours a day, and were prepared to risk their lives for him if necessary. On the other hand, President Nixon, known for exercising the most powerful authority among U.S. presidents, guaranteed them tremendous powers and privileges within the limits allowed by law. Then, in order to uphold their honor, they had to perfectly maintain the facade of the cover-up they devised, reflecting their knowledge and legal expertise for the sake of President Nixon, whom they believed in, and to digest the privileges and positions granted to them. However, their attempts were brutally shattered just 18 days later, on April 8th, because despite all perfectly aligning their statements, their testimonies did not match during individual investigations. They were not threatened with death, nor were they being blackmailed by anyone. However, they abandoned the president on their own and gave up that powerful position. Is that all? President Nixon became the first disgraced president in American history to resign during his term because of this. What on earth is the reason? It is because what they were trying to protect was nothing but a lie. Lies cannot be upheld by any human wisdom or power. Even the most brilliant intellectuals and legal experts, with their meticulously crafted lies, could not withstand the scrutiny for more than 18 days. If the ignorant Galilean fishermen had fabricated the resurrection of Jesus 2,000 years ago, how clumsy their script must have been, and how could such a flimsy lie have transcended 2,000 years of time and space to endure until today, especially under the threat of a terrifying death? Charles Colson poses this question. This was the unwavering evidence of the resurrection of Jesus that Charles Colson realized while serving time in prison after his meticulously constructed Watergate cover-up fell apart. In this evidence, Colson encountered the risen Lord, and through him, he experienced being born again in prison, which ultimately led him to write the book titled Born Again. The testimony of those ignorant disciples about the resurrection of Jesus has remained unbroken for 2,000 years, solely because it was the truth. The truth exists unchanged as the truth itself, Because the resurrection of Jesus was the truth, the disciples were able to risk their lives for that truth. They were able to boldly proclaim the truth, even if it meant becoming food for lions, because they had seen the risen Lord with their own eyes in the amphitheater. That the Lord has risen and is alive right now. May we all live a victorious life with a firm faith in resurrection. I bless you in the name of the Lord.